Yo, yo, yo. Sword Soul's here. It's cracked. It's broken. I just did like a 6-hour stream grinding this bitch. Let's get into it, y'all. Yo, 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 Igor Dre, but you can call me Dre. And today we're going to be talking about the best deck of the format. I believe, hands down, is the best deck of the format. Don't worry, y'all. I haven't given up on Drytron. I still play a lot of Drytron, and stay tuned for like a bit of a deck profile or build for that one, guys. But what I'm talking about today is going to be Sword Soul, boys. Sword Soul DPE to be exact, honestly, if you guys didn't tell by the title. So I just got out of like a 6-hour stream grinding into diamond to make sure that I can get there with this deck. And so because of that, I played against a lot of different mirror matches and a lot of different decks throughout the hours that I played, like tonight and last night. So I have a lot of big insight on it. I'm excited to share it with you. I'm excited to share the deck profile with you guys. So let's just go ahead and get into it before we get started. If you guys like my channel, or if you guys like the video, like it. If you guys like my channel, subscribe to it. If you guys want to go ahead and see me on my stream, I do stream over at twitch.tv ego_Dre. If you guys want to check it out, I do stream. My schedule's probably around like every Thursday, Friday. It's not like a set schedule, but it's like usually Thursday, Friday. If not then in the morning times, then it's like usually at night. Like usually I do like D-Gen late night streams. If I do, just like this one was a D-Gen late night stream. I do plan on streaming the Fusion Festival, so we'll get into that, get some deck profiles. But hey, let's get into the Sword Soul deck profile and my ins and outs, my thought process on it. Okay, so this is the deck profile for Sword Soul DPE. A couple of things to note about the deck profile, the way that's going to go. I'm going to go into depth about every single card, kind of, so it's going to be a little bit more basic. You guys can just skip it if you guys don't want to basically learn like the whole deck. If you guys understand what the deck already does, then you guys can move on. It's going to be more for the people who are new to the deck like Sword Soul, or a deck like Tenyis in general. So yeah, I'm going to basically go more into depth. If you guys want to just copy paste it, you guys can 100% copy paste it, do it that way. Okay, cool. So alrighty, guys, first things first, let's talk about the actual idea of Sword Soul and the actual idea of DPE Sword Soul. So obviously, Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, this card just recently came out within the next update, or the newest update, the newest set. This card is insane, bro. It's so good. It recurs, it pops, it destroys. You can just summon it with Fusion Destiny if you draw into Fusion Destiny, or you can just make a Verte at the end of your combo, basically send off the Fusion Destiny and pop off that way. Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, it's a great equalizer. It's a good card. If you're not playing it right now, like what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like try to create a build around this deck. No matter what deck you're playing, you can splash this in like basically anything. We were waiting for this for a while. It's a great card. Destroys 2 cards, recurs itself. Celestial Dasher's Pot of Greed. Good stuff, man. Not much else to say about that. Now onto the actual Sword Soul stuff. I am playing Tenyi Sword Soul. My Tenyi count is about like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. I did change it like up and down, but I think like I settled on this. The Tenyis are really good. They're great extenders. If you see them, it's just really good for you to be able to special summon them, create that monk, which you go into off of each one, and you're able to basically bounce things back. With Vishuddha or with Ashina, you're able to special summon. So all 3 of these do different things. The Vishuddha, when it's special summoned, it's probably the best one going second, I would say, because you're able to special summon it, make a monk of the Tenyi. When you control a non-effect monster, they all have similar effects. So if you control no effect monster, you can special summon him. And if you control a face-up non-effect monster, which is the vanilla monk of the Tenyi, you can basically just banish it from the grave and then activate its effect. This banish effect makes you basically bounce a card back on their side of the field, targeting. Ashina basically makes it so when you banish Ashina, you can special summon a Tenyi from your deck, but you get locked into Word monsters only. So be very careful when you use this, but it's very good because most of the extra deck monsters you're going to go into are Word monsters anyways. So Ashina is pretty good for that. And then Adhara is the one that basically when you banish it, you can target a banished Word monster and add it back to your hand. So it helps with a lot of facilitate a lot of like Sword Soul plays and a lot of tricky like Sword Soul plays that you can do. Interesting lines. When it comes to like the difficulty of the deck, I feel like the deck difficulty is like not the lowest. I think it is like decently high. It's like probably like mid to high, I would say, like around there, mid to complex. Like it starts getting pretty complex, like with the different matchups that you start playing. But the whole idea of Sword Soul is that it's this mid-range deck, right? So basically by mid-range, I mean like you are able to be explosive or you're able to be like control based, right? So a lot of the times like you're able to play slow and you can just like make a Chi Shao and then like end on a couple back row in your hand traps, so that way you can control the game a little bit better. Or you are able to explode, like go into combos, like if you know your opponent doesn't have Nib or you know they don't have Max C, You can go into stuff like that. Understand that right now, this meta, as you climb, you are going to run into a lot of Max C and a lot of Nibiru and a lot of Ashe. Bro, it's crazy. A lot of Call by the Grave, a lot of Crossout Designator. Everybody's playing Sword Soul, and everybody's trying to beat each other with these hand traps, right? So if you're not playing this deck, then you're playing against Striker DPE. If you're not playing against Striker DPE, you're playing against PK. If you're not playing against that deck, you're playing against some Danger Kaiju bullshit. Like, it's very interesting the way that the meta is panned out, but it all revolves around these hand traps. So it's very important that you understand that these hand traps are what are controlling the format at the moment. Max C to 3, obviously. Ashe 3 of, obviously. Ashe is very good, obviously, because you can stop the Max C. You got to be very careful with these as well, too. Get really smart at activating your Max Cs and activating your Ashe Blossoms. They will literally save you so hard. You have no clue. If you play these correctly, like, these cards they control the whole game, basically. And Nibiru is kind of like a cherry on top, I would say. There were times within like the earlier like elos where people were just running into Nibiru every day. So Nibiru was really, really good for climbing. Like, you can definitely catch people off guard with this one. But it's also just a really good card in general. Like, everybody is playing it, and like I was nibbed multiple times as well. So don't expect it to not be there. The Destiny Hero bricks, they're here as well too. Now let's go ahead and talk about the actual Sword Soul monsters, what they do and what makes them so good. Mo Yi, Sword Soul of Mo Yi. This is the main UR that you want to get. She's just a normal summon. She's the Stratos. You just normal summon it. Special, you can reveal a Sword Soul card or a Worm monster. This is very important. You want to make sure that you always have something in your hand to reveal when you are summoning your Moye. If you don't have something to reveal, you will not be able to activate its effect. Make sure that you have something to reveal within your combo. I definitely did that when I was first playing it. Like, it happens all the time. So just make sure you normal summon Moye's effect, reveal a Worm or like a Emergence. You can reveal any Sword Soul card included, block out anything like that. Then activate its effect. It summons a token, which is a level 4, and the token is the tuner. So then you're able to have the token, which is a level 4 tuner, and the Moye itself, and you can go into any level 8 just with one card. Very good, very strong. It's like kind of the main thing of your combo, and there's little things that you can do within your combo where you can special summon this thing back during your combo and like dump it off of Taye and then special it back with Baxia, and then just basically like go off that way and make it like more level 8. It's really good. It's a really good card. Moye is a very strong card. Usually it loses to Emperor and Veiler, so just be very careful how you're using it. This deck does rely on its normal summon, and then it's one extender, which is Long Yun, and we'll get there when we get there. Cool. So on to the next card is Taye. Taye is really good like on later games, or even like when it comes to baiting things out. He's very good. His effect is a little different. He's an ignition effect, so he doesn't happen on summon, but you can activate his effect. You can banish a Sword Soul card or a Worm monster from your grave to special summon a Sword Soul token and do basically the same thing. Make a level 8 with it. However, this creates like a couple more avenues of play, because you can normal summon this, banish Blackout. Like if you know that they have like Imperm or something like that, Blackout, when it's banished, it creates a token. And then Taye also creates a token itself. So if they Veiler this or Imperm this plays around that basically. Also, you can normal summon this. You can banish any of your Tenyis or any of your Sword Souls. Banish those, then Adhara will be able to add those back. Very good. Very good. Like if you're really smart with Taye, like you can do a lot of stuff with him. So he's a very good card. Incredible Ecclesia, the Virtuous. This is a playset of, you want to make sure you're playing 3 of these, because this card basically is just the way to special summon out any of your Sword Souls from the deck. She's basically like prime Ashe target. It's just you got to be really careful with this, because it's big Ashe bait, and it's big what's it called, Max C bait. So if you use your normal summon to summon this, then like you want to be really careful with it. But a lot of the times when you special summon it, it's just free real estate. Like going second, you special summon it, and then you can activate its effect, and then they have to do something to it. You tribute it to be able to special summon out the Sword Soul monster. And this effect as well too is really good in this specific build of Sword Soul, which is Sword Soul DPE. During the end phase, if a fusion monster was sent to your graveyard this turn, add this card from the graveyard to your hand. So if this card is in your this card was in your graveyard, like when you activate DPE effect, pop something on their side of the field and pop something on your side of the field, DPE goes to the grave, it activates effect during the end phase, Ecclesia triggers, and you get to add it back to your hand. And so you basically always have a reoccurring Ecclesia as long as you have the Sword Soul, or as long as you have the DPE on the field coming back in and out. So it's really good. This card is a good extender. It's both an extender and a starter, so it's a really, really good card, and just creates a lot of advantage. And on to Long Yun. This card, I swear this card is like badly like designed because it's so good. Like maybe not badly designed, but you know what I mean. Like it's just really good. So basically it's like quick draw synchron. If you ever played with quick draw synchron, you can discard, or like Cuirass, Shred Brigade Cuirass, you can discard one other Sword Soul card or one other worm monster, special summon the card from the hand, and you can special summon a Sword Soul token to level 4. The difference between him and the others is he's obviously a level 6, so you can make a level 10, which is what basically makes this a 2-card Baron, and you can just instantly go into Baron, or you can instantly go into Cheng Ying, or even Red Rose, which I have as well too. So basically the Long Yen is basically does that. It also has this effect that when you special summon it, or when you use it as a material, as a synchro material, it burns for 1200, which is really random because it makes it so that if you resolve summoning this monster or using this monster to synchro summon, you burn them for 12, put them at 68, and now you have like an avenue to basically just OTK. It feels really stupid. Like I don't understand why they added that, but it's just really, really good. So yeah, make sure, like I bumped this up to 3. At first I was playing 2, but then I realized that I always want to see Sword Souls. There were times where like if I don't see Sword Souls, like my deck's ass. So I would suggest playing 3 of them. You can probably drop it down to 2. I wasn't like dying to like missing the 3rd Long Yen, but I just wanted to up my worm numbers because I didn't want to break all like on no worms. Like I need to make sure that I see worms in general. So cool. We already talked about the Tenyis, we already talked about the Nibiru's. Now let's go and talk about the Fusion Destinies. Obviously you play 2. If you draw into this, you can just slam it down. Just be very careful because when you're controlling like a Sword Soul token, you cannot activate this. So make sure your Sword Soul tokens are all gone before you activate Fusion Destiny. Okay, cool. Triple Sword Soul Emergence. This card's basically just the Searcher. However, if you're playing the Protoss build, which I am not, if you're playing Protoss in the deck, I did play Protoss for a little bit, I didn't really like it, but if you're playing the Protoss build, you can basically activate this and then add Protoss if you already have like all of your Sword Souls, then summon out Protoss like at the end of the combo. I do want to talk about Protoss a little bit. I know that in the TCG it was very, very broken. It's a really good card. It's banned for a reason. However, in MasterDuel, it's very different, right? A lot of the times I was running into Maxi. It was way different. I was running to Maxi and never had a chance to even Protoss anybody. Like I was never Protossing anybody. And there were times where I just hard bricked on it and I just lost because I hard bricked on it and a bunch of hand traps. So I think Protoss is a little win more in MasterDuel, I would say, at least right now, as of the current moment of where the meta stands. I think Protoss is very win more. Not only that, not a lot of people are on Drytron, a lot of people are in Sword Soul mirrors, and Protoss isn't amazing in the Sword Soul mirror. So it's probably better that you just create a more consistent deck and a more consistent build, which is why I'm not playing things like Protoss or, you know, more of like 1-card starters like Sword Soul Sacred Summit. Like I kind of wanted to play Sacred Summit, I'm not gonna lie. I played it at first and then I took it out because it felt like I didn't really need it, and then the later I got in, the more I felt like it could have been a little more useful for like OTKs and facilitating those. So maybe you could play Sacred Summit as well too, but for now I think Sword Soul Emergence is fine. Like this, I don't think you need Protoss either. It should be good. 2 Called by the Grave. At first I had 2 Called by the Grave, 2 cross out Designator for the hand traps, but then I realized it was a little bit bricky because you want to be able to see your worms, so I ended up taking out the cross out Designators. But you could play it. I did miss it here and there. I did miss like having 1 cross out at least, to be having 3 Called by the Graves, but 2 Called by the Graves was okay. You just want to have like Ash and Called by the Grave. You just don't want to brick into like not Sword Soul monsters. So having Called by the Grave was pretty good for the Maxis, having it pretty good for the Ashes. So those are all good. Yeah, I wouldn't change that. And then 2 Imperm. Imperm was pretty nice. I kind of wanted to bump it up to 3, but 2 Imperm was fine. Just being able to negate Moye is fine if you're going against Sword Soul decks. It kind of wins the mirror. Like if you like draw into it and they just have Moye, they don't have anything real. It's pretty good. 1 Blackout. You don't need any more than this. You just add this. You kind of brick on it sometimes. It's a Sword Soul card though, so it's not really too bad of a brick. But having 1 Blackout's fine. Sometimes you don't even resolve it. Sometimes you just like have a board full of synchro monsters and it's just good. And lastly, oh my god, Imperial Order, Vanity's Emptiness. You guys have no clue how many times these cards have won me games. It's insane. The fact that you can play this deck mid-range is what makes this deck so good, because you can play cards like Imperial Order and Vanity's Emptiness and just win the game. Oh my god, Vanity's Emptiness won me so many games just randomly off of summoning Baron and then setting Vanity's Emptiness, or summoning Qishao, setting Vanity's Emptiness, summon DPE, set Vanity's Emptiness. Like you don't even need a real board a lot of the times because you just flip the Emptiness and it beats like most meta decks at the moment, obviously, because it's Emptiness. You know what I mean? Like this card is banned for a reason in the TCG. I don't know why it's not banned here. This deck takes full advantage of it. It really does. So play this card. Imperial Order. It's an auto win against Striker, and a lot of people are playing Striker DPE right now. So it's such an auto win. They at least have an out with DPE. So if you get Imperial Order a little too late, it's like eh. But like there was a lot of times where I was in Striker games that I shouldn't have been in, and Imperial Order just got me there. Like 100% just got me there. So you guys, like seriously, play like some of these floodgates, because like if you see these floodgates, it can just seal the deal. It's like a nail in the coffin, especially in best of ones. Nail in the coffin, really good. I would play it. Onto the extra deck. We got the almighty DPE. We already talked about it. We don't got to talk about it anymore. This card's really good. We can talk about the different variants of the deck, I guess. Tenyi Sword Soul Pure, I hear, is pretty good. I liked it at first, but it didn't feel like I had enough gas in a sense, unless I was playing the Hulk build, which a lot of people are playing, which I want to try a little bit more, because I tried it with this about 0-1 and I bricked on it. I didn't want that to happen. So I could probably test it a little bit more and see how I feel about like the Hulky build. But personally, this build was like more than enough to be able to get me like where I needed to be. So the DPE Sword Soul build I think was very, very strong. Yes, I bricked on Celestial Dasher. Yes, I bricked on those cards. Yes, DPE sometimes just got outed, like it is what it is, but DPE is really strong. It makes things very consistent, and there were a lot of times where I had full combo and I was just going in and they negated everything and I just slammed Fusion Destiny, and it's like, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, the card kind of carries you. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the Fusion Destiny kind of carries you. Cool. One Yazi, I summoned this I think once throughout my thing. One Crimson Blader. Crimson Blader is pretty good in the mirror if you're able to summon it and then be able to swing over something and be able to destroy it and then use its effect to be able to like not let them play. It's okay. I never really like summoned it myself, but like I always wanted to, so it could be okay. Baxia originally had this at 2. I changed it back to 1. This is one of the better cards though in the deck for sure. Like, you go into this card if you're not going to Chisao. This card does literally everything. Like, if you summon it with Taya, you get to spin 2. If you summon it with Moye, you get to spin 1. And then basically once per turn, you can target one card you control and one level 4 lower monster in your graveyard, destroy that card on the field. And if you do, special summon that other monster from the graveyard. So a lot of the times you're going to go into Taya, and then make a token, then you're synchro those two, make Baxia, chainlink 1 Baxia, chainlink 2 Taya. Taya effect is going to dump Moye, Baxia effect is going to spin 2 back row, and then you can use Baxia effect to pop like your monk, and then it specials back Moye. Then Moye effect basically adds Long Yun, and or basically special summons itself, makes Chisao, adds Long Yun, and then you just break a whole board. It's really, really good. You just break a whole board. So I would suggest playing double Baxia if you can. If you can't, if you don't have the UR for the rest of these monsters, if you can play double Baxia, just do it. Like, the card's really, really good, and sometimes like you might miss it. I didn't miss it, but you might, you know what I mean? So this card's really, really good. Always go into this one secondary, or going second. Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, this card's really good going first, and it beats a lot of cards, especially in the mirror. Like, the card's really good. Basically what it does when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can just banish it. It doesn't negate it, but you can just banish the monster. Also, if it attacks a card and destroys an effects monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can attack again, and it gains the attack. So it's pretty good for like killing 2 monsters in a row. But what's mostly important is that banish effect, right? Because when you're playing in the mirror, a lot of the times you're putting up Chisao, Blackout, and Baron maybe, or Chisao, Blackout, Berserker. And if you're putting up Berserker against the mirror, like, you have the Berserker, it just deals with Long Yun fully. Like, it just deals with Long Yun. They activate Long Yun, you just chain Draco Berserker, that banishes their Long Yun. They're screwed. They can't do anything. So definitely make Berserker if you can. Sword Soul Grandmaster Chisao. This card is so good. Like, this is your go-to. You just go into this every time you can. With Moye especially, you just summon this. When it's synchro summon, you can add or banish a Sword Soul card, and that does come up from your deck. Basically, and then you can just chainlink 1 this, chainlink 2 Moye to protect it, and then Moye basically adds a card. Chisao or Moye draws a card. You can see what you drew, and then you can just Chisao effect, add whatever you need to fix your hand basically. And Chisao is just really good. Like, its second effect is basically you can banish 1 Sword Soul card or a worm monster from your graveyard, from your hand or graveyard actually. Then target 1 other effect monster in the field and negate its effects. So it's basically an imperm on wheels. It adds a card, like, it does everything. Like, it's just a really good card. And that effect too, as well too, that to banishes a Sword Soul card from your deck, you can banish Blackout to create a token. So do that if you need to. Think of all the lines of plays. Chishao's good. This deck is cracked. 1 Xiaofeng, I never summoned this card. Literally never. There was never a time where I wanted to make this and just thought like, oh, okay, I'm gonna beat my opponent because I summoned Xiaofeng. Very rarely did I make this. I think this is also just like Protoss. It's a little bit more win more. You really don't need to make it. It might just beat Drytron if you're playing as Drytron, but how do you know? Because you're playing best of ones. So a lot of the times I didn't want to make Xiaofeng. It didn't feel safe enough for me, and I want to make literally anything else. But don't get me wrong, this card's really, really good. It's a floater because it gets to add a tuner basically back. The last effect doesn't really matter that much, but he's okay. He's very okay. he basically just stops stuff. So this isn't like fully necessary, I would say. Ready Rose, I added Ready Rose last second because I had gotten Ready Rose in the mirror and it was really good. So I would suggest playing Ready Rose if you can. It beats a lot of decks. It beats Striker, it beats Drytron. Like if you resolve this thing, like you get to banish all of their entire graveyard. Like it's just a good card. It was another toolbox for me. I never made it, but it was another toolbox for me. One Baron to floor. Baron is cracked. I would honestly, if you have two, I would play two of these as well too. Like if you have two, this card's just really good. You can just make it and then negate a card. Obviously Baron's Baron, and then you just get to pop a card. Obviously this is just one of the go-tos you usually go to with Long Yen. And then Shang Ying is another go-to you go to. This card is insane in the mirror. Not only that, everybody's playing DPE right now. This absolutely shits on DPE. It gains for each card banished, and if this card would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish a card from the graveyard instead. So it protects itself from DPE's effect. And then if a card is banished in general, so at all, so if you activate Chi Xiao, or if you get popped and then you activate Chang Ying effect to protect itself, you banish a card, this card triggers, and then you can banish one card each from both your opponent's field and graveyard. Only thing to remember, they have to have a card on both the field and the graveyard, but it works. Literally, you just can banish two cards, one of them usually being DPE. It's insane. Hella good. Cool. So this card usually you want to put up against the mirror and put up against Sword Soul. So double Monk of the Tenyi, pretty good. One Shaman. Shaman came up once. Actually came up twice. It came up a couple times. It's good. It's a good bait. I made it against Tri Brigade because I needed it to be able to swing over Appaloosa. So his Appaloosa was at 16, so I summoned this guy, and then he basically bounced it back with Dragon Lord. So I was like, thank God, normal summon Taiye, just swing over it anyways. So it's pretty good. It's honestly really good. So I would highly suggest playing this card. And then lastly, Verte Anaconda, basically to make the DPE. And yeah, that's basically what I have for Sword Soul, dude. Yeah, this deck is really good. I just gotta say, I highly suggest, if you guys have the gems to roll for it. It will get you there, and practice it. It's really fun. A lot of people are playing it. Learn the Sword Soul mirror. You'll get much better just at the game in general. And it's hard. Like it's hard to learn, don't get me wrong, but like it's very rewarding when you win with this deck. And yeah, all right guys, if you guys like my video, like it. If you guys like my channel, subscribe to it. Hit me up on my streams. I plan on making more videos on the Fusion Festival and on Drytron and on different decks within Diamond. So alrighty guys, later.